This is Lizzie from Let Zoe Spoil You.
And Sagira from Sagira Salutes You. And together, we are Newbie versus Weeaboo. Sagira, Newbie.
Lizzie, Weeaboo.
It's Newbie versus Weeaboo.
This podcast is brought to you by a veteran anime fan, myself, Lizzie, who wanted to share their love with a friend. That would be Sagira, who is our newbie. Each week, I make Newbie watch an anime film, and we discuss it from the points of view of someone who has watched anime for 25 years, did a master's in Japanese culture, and spent time in Japan, versus someone who has watched the Death Note in dub.
So, Sagira, what did you think of the anime you watched today?
So, my synopsis for this one is: company want to create a Matrix-style future for the elderly. Not having this, the old man becomes a transformer to escape. Then, old man hackers catfish the transformer to try and save him. Catfish becomes self-realised and wants to go to the beach.
Pretty much, that is the plot of Roujin Z. Basically about a care bed that becomes sentient and wants to take husband to the beach.
And it is a bizarre topic for an anime. Like, how insane.
I mean, in a way, it's actually totally a reasonable thing, but it's, it was dealing with actual social problems and the dangerous whole of putting military grade technology in a hospital bed.
But where does that idea come from? Old man in a medical bed becomes massive transformer. It's like, what?
Well, 1991, so it's just after the economic collapse,
right.
And all the companies are vying for an influx of cash from outsourcing things. So Japan had a massive boom in technology, economy crashed, therefore they tried getting cash from other countries. So in this one, they're trying to get money from the UN to sponsor their military, but at the same time people are kind of going, well, we will give you money for your military, but you don't seem to be taking very good care of your people because you're in an economic crisis and there isn't anybody to look after the elderly. So thoughts from the social commentary there. It's also, Japan has the highest population of elderly people of any place in the world, and there's a really huge gap of carers and stuff to take care of these elderly.
Which is insane because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've always been aware that they're very respectful to the elderly over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why were they so disrespectful to this one old man?
Because it's anime, it's a hypothetical. It's a lot of anime, especially from this era, explored what-ifs and issues that are arising in Japanese society that people wouldn't talk about in the media. You could do it in anime because it's watched by a niche amount of people in Japan. It's watched by anime fans to do social commentary, but it's not watched by the whole. And in the whole, Japan didn't really like promoting the fact that it was in an economic crisis. It has a rising elderly population. It was the beginning of the lost decade this was made in, which is the dissatisfied youth culture that we're kind of going, I don't like the system and I'm not going to
take it anymore.
No, so we're going to not go and get jobs and there's no one to look after the elderly.
Right, because also there's a lot of illegal action going on that I could think of, kidnapping for a start, because as far as I know this man did not consent to being put in this bed.
Yes, he didn't consent, but the family who didn't want to look after him anymore gave permission. Because basically, it's this whole idea, because of the ageing population but the economic deficit, people can't afford carers to work for them, and there's also not enough young people in those carers roles to go around. So their family had economic crisis, so they need to work just to support themselves. But if they can say, oh yeah, sure, you can have our relative, to be a guinea pig, because it means that we no longer have to pay for his care.
Yeah, but he had care, and surely
no.
from the sound of it, she wanted to care for him, whether she was being paid or not. Because
she's a student nurse, and part of that is they do volunteer placement, and hers was she was obviously in the elderly wing, and so she had volunteered to do home care on this guy.
So why can't she just continue doing that?
Because it's placements.
So? Her placement clearly wasn't over, so why didn't they just wait for the placement to finish before they did that? Because, she was looking after him, she was happy, she liked him.
Yeah, they could have, but at the same time, the hospital thought they got to a good deal that they get. Oh, because also a lot of hospitals are like privately funded and stuff, so they would have got a nice influx of cash from the military to help support hospital projects.
I'm calling ball poopy.
Yeah, I don't know really enough about the hospital system in Japan. It's not one of my grand areas. Lost decade and all that stuff this thing is made in. Social problems and dissatisfied youth culture, I can tell you. The actual, like, is Japanese medical school, is Japanese medical school the same as British medical school, where you have a set period of time doing that in that area, go, right, your placement there is finished, now you have to go and work in this part, now you're in A&E, now you're in anesthesiology, now you're in, I don't know, radiology. I don't know how it works in Japan, nor in England very well.
So that's your next topic, to go to Japan and
Look at
have a hangout in their hospitals and go, so...
I think I'm going to stick to my usual Japanese hangouts.
Fair enough. But it was entertaining that they had all this technology to make this amazing bed, and yet their computers were like still 1999.
Yeah, it's so dated.
It's like, wow, the other machine is so much quieter than these computers. You'd think that they would have upgraded everything, not just a bed.
No, they kind of it all comes down to money, and it all comes down to they seem to put all their money and all their might into creating military experiments, amazing pieces of tech that, you know, pretty much 9 out of 10 in all these animes, this amazing piece of tech goes on a bit of a rampage. And
Of course.
this is like the same decade that a lot of like the cyberpunk stuff started coming out of, and the whole idea of more powerful tech would go around assimilating things. So there's a whole host of things, as you start watching them, you'll realise there's a whole trend of like one piece of tech kind of grows semi-tentacle things and absorbs something else, and it also becomes bioorganic. There's a lot of it where it will start being organic and inorganic matter, going blah, blah, blah.
Like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
But with technology and people.
Not food.
Not food, yeah.
And computers.
So think of Cloudy and a Chance with a Chance of Meatballs, but with technology, people, and social commentary.
That's too confusing, I'll stick to food. Also, again with the respect thing, Ape, they called him Ape a lot. Is that a term of endearment? Or
no, because that was like ageing population enhancement or something.
Okay.
So it stood for like he was a member of the ageing population. I can't remember what the
and it comes out as Ape.
Yeah. Okay, so actually there is an image of how respectful the Japanese are about their elderly, and obviously the image is working.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, Japan really doesn't like anyone that they see as kind of not pulling their weight to make the cogs of society continue turning. It's why they have a huge thing against the homeless, and you know, and that kind of thing. If you're not a useful member of society, they kind of want to find ways to brush you under the carpet and get rid of you because you're not contributing to anything. So this guy is an ape. He's basically like, you know, it's a monkey, it's a slang term, and there is a slang term in Japan, like calling people a monkey just means people of, you know, lesser intelligence and aren't as useful. It's, you know, it's a slur. So it was that commentary on the fact that the ageing population after a certain point in Japan are detrimental to its expanding economy, and they don't have anything to give back to society, and they'd rather find useful ways to use them or get rid of them.
Charming.
I know.
So the other thing that I was loving was the realism of the cat. Especially at the start, where the cat is sat on the old man's chest with butt facing his face.
Yeah.
And tail swishing on, and yeah, I thought the animation of the cat was actually very good.
Yeah.
And then cat goes missing, and I got sad.
Oh,
If
you are very, very addicted to this cat in this anime.
If you've listened to other podcasts, I am very concerned about the animals, and this cat goes missing. And for the most of this, I was saying to Lizzie, "Where's the cat? Where's the cat? Where's the cat? What happened to the cat? Where's the cat?"
I'm not going to tell you. I know what happened to the cat, but I'm not going to tell you the end of the movie.
It was very sad for a long, long time. Like, the cat disappeared into the machine, and then we didn't see it again. And I was like, is it crushed? Did it get out? I'm very sad right now. And it kind of took away from the rest of the film.
The Japanese seem to like cats quite a bit. They're normally done quite respectfully.
Good.
And treated quite like alright in most things. They seem to have a bit of a mind of their own and just be like, they're very cat.
Unlike dogs who they slice up.
Yeah.
Aww.
But some dogs are really liked. But in general, cats seem to just get away with more things in anime.
And that is to life as well.
Yeah.
Some like the art style of this, I thought is very. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was traditional.
Yeah.
It was very sharp.
Yeah.
Non-consistent. A lot of them had cross eyes through some of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's still old enough that like there's going to be problems with. It's really weird. You'll have scenes which are so beautifully animated, with like when the hair is flowing past thing. But then when they're just doing basic scenes, it's like this scene's not important, so we're just kind of going to draw in some dots for your eyes, and you're just like, and it's like that's where you know it's like they're saving the budget on characters that matter, because these side characters don't matter, so they're going to have some dots and lines. But you know what? We're going to fully animate the hell out of this bed and all its individual moving components while her hair is flicking around in the wind and the scenery's flying past.
That was quite
But
good.
that guy gets lines for eyes.
Yeah, true. The voice acting
Yes.
was something to be desired for some of them,
Oh.
especially Nerdy Guy.
Okay, so we watched this anime dubbed for Sagira,
Duh.
and don't watch it dubbed.
As someone
Watch it subbed.
As someone who preferred dub, we did listen to the sub afterwards, and it was better. Because the dub, they kind of did like, what's the word? They characterized it so that the nerd sounded like a nerd, but he didn't look nerdy enough to have that voice.
Yeah.
You know, it was
generic.
generic. Yes.
Very generic. And he's like, I'm a slime ball, so I'm gonna talk like a slime ball. And you're just like, no one actually sounds like that. Stop. They're just normal people.
It was far too nasally, and like it was forcing it to be nerdy, and it's like and slime ballish, and it's like, no, you don't need to do that. Like, we can see him, we know what the kind of character he is, you don't have to emphasise it in his voice. And then when you listen to the sub version, it's far more suited because they're not exaggerating anything, they're just giving him a voice.
They're not caricatures.
Yes.
They're like realistic. And also, for some unknown reason with the dubs in the early days, they felt the need to throw in like lines that aren't in the Japanese version. They like to embellish and ad-lib, and you're sitting there going, why is that line in there? Like, there's a scene where everyone's kind of celebrating and they're in the hospital and one of the old hackers drinks a glass of water. And in the Japanese version, he drinks a glass of water and he puts it down and everything's continuing. But in the dub version, he's like, oh yeah, nothing like a glass of gin after a hard day. And I'm like, you're in a hospital. No one is going to give you an entire, like, you know, what size measure of gin was that? No one is going to give you a giant glass of gin in the hospital.
And also we saw a lot of the pet names that the wife was giving to her husband were not in it.
Yes, no, that was all for the dub. So all those snookums, honey bun,
Is that a culture
cuddly
thing?
boo, pook. Yeah, there's not as much of those cutesy, namey malarkey in it. I can't see traditional Japanese housewives going around going, oh, honey bun. They barely see their husbands because once they enter the workplace, it's, you know, your million-hour weeks and regiments and stuff. You'll have your terms of endearment, which is anata, which is like, you know, darling or honey. And sometimes they'll use the English for honey and they'll say honey, and it sounds very cute and that's endearing. And, or they will just, as you get older, instead of saying like husband, wife, you would call yourself grandpa, grandma, because you're grandpa, grandma age. So if you've been together for a long time and you start calling your partner grandma, or in her case going grandpa because she's going oji-san, that just means you've been together for a long time and you're comfortable and it's quite beautiful. And then they'll use husband and wife. And he in return was saying haru, which is, you know, the wife's name. But there was none of this snookums, honey bunch, pumpkin pie, sweetie pie, love nugget. Like, the Japanese don't go around calling people love nugget. Or at the end, hey, sexy pants.
It was so out of character.
And it's like, when the new mecha babe, and in the Japanese, she comes up and she goes, I've come to get you. And it's such a more touching thing, because it's like, she didn't leave you, she didn't forget about you, she was reforming to come back for you. Rather than going, hey, sexy pants. You're like, Oh my god, don't watch the dub. Don't do it to yourselves, people, don't. Unless you want to laugh or unless you want to get stressed like me going, stop it.
And I agree. I actually agree on this one. I mean, we have watched quite a few where we've complained about the whiny girl voices, but in this case, yeah. I would watch the other ones just for the whiny girl voices to experience them.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's just not worth it.
No. I mean, she didn't do a bad job, the actual girl that was playing Haruka. She was... I mean,
She was okay. I mean, there's no whiny voices in this
yes,
one.
I know.
It was just the guy with the glasses with his nasally voice.
Yeah.
That was doing my head in.
It was just the fact that they all just didn't sound Japanese. And a very Japanese story about a hypothetical of how to deal with the social problem of ageing population, not enough people to care for it, mixing it with the fact that the economy failed after the technology boom, so people were a little bit nervous around the new technology, and some people were refusing to update their technology, and some people really couldn't afford it. It's just like, well, what happens if a military power got funded and it all went a bit wiggy and they put it in the care system, so you're getting old and like, oh no, my family are going to abandon me, and then a bed eats you and you go on a
Literally.
mecha rampage, and then the military turn up going, haha, you're a military experiment, here's the other military experiment that's not a bed, that's actually made for the military, now fight. And then you get a mecha showdown in a tunnel.
Robot Wars.
Yeah, literally, robot wars, but one of the things is a hospital bed.
The other thing I was interested in at the start mostly was the music. Like, they had this music that was kind of like futuristic circus kind of music. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but I don't know, it kind of added to the fact that, they're trying to touch on futuristic technology, but also how it's a bit, comical and something absurd, something that we wouldn't necessarily put all our money into at this time. You know?
It was it's quite a good score. It's quite an underplayed score. It's very subtle. But sometimes you almost don't notice it's going on, and the times you do notice it are through moments where actually you're kind of going, this is a bit odd. And the situation is a little bit weird, but that's okay, because they kind of know this is a bit weird, but they're also saying that it's also, this could be the future, and the future could be a bit weird.
We know it can be weird. If you watch Black Mirror, it can be weird.
Exactly. And the thing is, this animal is kind of ahead of its time with the fact that it's talking about the ageing population, when you're considering it's 1991. Like, actually looking at it, the population is a problem in Japan now. And the ageing population thing, and the fact that they don't find older people have anything to put into society, and the way youth culture has gone away from wanting to care about the old, and families don't want to be taking care of their elderly relatives anymore, they want other things to do, and the care system's going, we've got so many old people and nobody wants to look after it. What they're actually doing is then most of the nurses in care homes now up in places like the Philippines, because they will come over and look after the elderly population, because Japanese families don't. That traditional thing where you would live in the house, and your mother would live in the house until she died, and there'd be like three generations of family in one house. It's kind of not as common now in Japan. But 1991, as I like to believe, the 90s was 10 years ago, and I'm not that old, and I haven't been watching anime for that long. But that makes this film more than 15 years old. And I'm like, I remember watching it when it came out. Oh God, I'm old.
Not that old.
Not that old, but it's like, whoo, I've been watching stuff for a long
You've
time.
been around.
Been around.
So when they were in the bar, they had she had like a box that she was drinking out of, so
that's
what's
actually the traditional way you drink sake in Japan.
Okay.
That's like, so you go there, and what they'll do is they'll have this bamboo box, so when the sake is poured into it, it's kind of part absorbed into the wood. And so the wood will always have that, essence of the sake in it. But what they do is they'll put the glass in it, and then they'll pour the sake into the glass until it overflows into the box. And you drink it like that. And she was probably drinking it cold, because heating sake was a Western thing they did, because Westerners like the taste of it warmed better, and then it got really back appropriated to Japan.
why don't we drink alcohol like that? Like, that sounds better.
In a box.
Yeah, in a box, and it absorbs it. And
I don't know,
surely
it's like how you get whiskey in oak barrels.
Yeah.
But you're not drinking it from the barrel, you're drinking it from a smaller box.
That's it. So surely it'll be better to put whiskey from a barrel into a box to keep getting that
aroma.
boxy taste, I guess.
There's just something, I don't know, it's just the way they do it. It's really tasty like that. And actually you find that drinking sake that isn't warmed is like, it's got a lot of lovely flavours in these sakes and stuff, and yeah. And then you'll notice that the guy that was drinking pints, there was ice in his pints. And a lot of the time they put ice in the beer out there. And he had a sour plum in it.
That's what the circle was.
Yes. I have some of those if you want to try it.
Ooh.
You want to try it and have a live reaction?
Why not? Let's try it. You get it now?
I'm going to get it now.
Oh,
that
dear.
way. Oh.
So for the YouTube video, we're going to have to show this. Goody. Me eating a plum.
I'm going to have one too because it's delicious. Don't swallow it. It's got a massive pip in it. So what you do is put it in your mouth and you just keep on sucking until all the flavour has come out of it.
You put it in your mouth, keep on sucking until all the flavour is gone.
My mum puts them in her wine glasses.
Okay, so this is me and Lizzie eating a what plum?
Well, this is a dried plum. I know them from Malaysia and we call them asam buis.
Okay.
But it's like a dried pickled plum. And they're delicious.
Okay. I'm getting... It changes.
It changes. It's got sugar on the outside and then...
What are you doing?
Isn't it lovely?
Oh, it's delicious.
My husband hates it if I've eaten them and he has to kiss me because they're all in because it stays in your mouth and on your tongue and coats it.
It's really like salty. It's so delicious, I've heard.
The flavours will come round again. Just keep going.
Oh, yeah, my throat.
And as it gets soft, you can nibble the skin off the stone.
Goody.
As it gets softer, the flesh will just fall off.
I'm so happy.
And then you can have that lovely salty, tangy sourness all in your mouth.
You're so kind to me.
They're delicious, I love them. They are quite nice if you drop them in a glass of Prosecco because it makes everything go a little bit like salty sweet.
You know, it fills up and you've got to swallow it. You better give me a drink after this. Oh my god, it's going on forever.
Yeah, they last for ages.
Oh my god, what have you done to me?
I gave you an asam bui.
Can I eat it yet?
Yeah, just gnaw the flesh off around it. What I normally do is I normally put the pip in my cheek so I can continue normally. And then you can keep the flavour in your mouth for as long as you like.
I'm alright.
Well, for the rest of the video, you're going to have to keep it in your mouth.
No. I refuse.
Oh, look, if you suck the stone, it gets the sweetnesses back in the
yay. Don't do it.
stone. They're delicious, people. They really are delicious.
Oh god.
Strangely enough, I find that it's only my white friends that don't like them.
What's the reason?
Like, my husband hates them, and my Asian friends like them. They're lovely. It's so sweet when you get to the pip part and you just roll that pip around your mouth.
We have a different version of sweet. I'm done.
Oh, we haven't gnawed on the
I don't care.
But it gets stuck on the end. Well, I'm gonna drink. I'm going to do the rest of this video with it in my mouth because it's just too delicious to...
I can't even get out. Cat's betraying me. Move, kitty.
No, she's like, no. You're going to eat Mummy's tasty treats.
Please, gonna have my drink. I can't carry on without it.
Next time you come round, you can try it by dropping them in your alcohol.
Oh, whoopee. Thank you. Okay, so. After that, it's like burnt the top of my mouth.
I know, it'll coat it, it'll be delicious.
Yeah, I'm going to be driving home like, Okay, so the other thing that I noticed was when it goes on forever.
That's what I know.
In my teeth.
Yeah, it's not going to go away for a while.
I hate you. Your husband is too good to you. Okay. So the other thing was when he was rampaging all through the town.
Yeah.
He rampaged into this building. It looked like an arcade, but everything, all the machines were the same. So what kind of, was it an arcade or was
It's a pachinko parlour. Pachinko is a weird type of, I don't know, gambling. It's basically, you know, when they crash, there's like little silver balls were cascading everywhere, and then just like a shower of grey stuff. So basically, you kind of like, you pay your fee to get your little balls, and the machines are like just all lined up, and they'll all either be like themed like Gundam, but there'll be like a row of 20 of them, and you put your little balls into the pachinko machine, and they go bingity 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 bingity, and sometimes they make more pachinko balls come out. It's like, to me, I've tried it, and it's incredibly boring because you literally sit there going, you know, like in the UK, there's those ones where they kind of go in and out, and they've got the coins in it, and right on the edge are the prizes, and you put the 10p's in, and you hope that it falls in a way to nudge some more 10p's.
10p, you're expensive. I did 2p, mate.
Oh, okay, well,
2p machine.
Well, I knew the 10p ones because I liked it, they were shiny. So you keep dropping it in the hope that it will nudge a whole load of, and then so you could put in like, you know, a couple of 10p's and you could get out like 20 quid when some stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but it looks like a pinball machine. But with tiny, tiny little balls.
So, you get more balls back.
You can.
Right. So
It's all
if you
hit and miss somehow.
But if you get some back, can you exchange those for money, or is it just
Yeah.
you keep playing? Okay.
And you get baskets.
That's better.
And you've got to try and fill up the baskets. And people just sit there all day going... And I'm like, I'm going to go to the arcade where the Gundam machines are because they're far more fun.
I want to go visit one now. I'm a bit of a gambler. I'm a gambler, I ate that blimmin' plum.
And it was delicious and worth it.
Nah, mate. Right. In a couple of parts of the film, the title and halfway through the film when he was crashing through the city, there was realism. So the title was drawn by a real hand.
Yeah, I think they just did that to be cool. I don't think there's any true meaning behind it. I don't know why.
But then
I'd totally forgotten about that bit, and I was like, oh, they're doing traditional brushwork.
But also at the beginning of... sorry, not at the beginning, in the middle. But also in the middle of town, when he was crashing through, there was an advert with a real woman in it. It's like, why not just draw it? Why is there a real woman?
Well, it was a drawn picture of a real woman.
No, it was a real woman, surely.
No, it was just a drawn set in the background.
A very well drawn woman.
Yeah.
Jeez. That was really good because it looked real.
No, it was just a billboard in the background. It has absolutely beautiful backgrounds in this. Wonderful traditional
What, when he
pages.
crashed through it?
Yeah, it was just a billboard with a person drawn on it.
No, we got to go back and watch that.
So with the intonation that was going on between the sub and the dub, it was the fact that in the dub, she's like going, oh, goodbye, it's, you know, we'll meet again. Like, it's very much like, oh, goodbye, we will meet again. Like, and you're like, oh, and then it just kind of, it cuts off because the way she says it in English has more like syllables to the animation, so that the little thing kind of dies out before she can complete like the sentence. So it's kind of like, and goodbye, kind of thing. But in the subtitled version, she goes, goodbye, we will meet again. So it's more like a, like she's like sad that she's leaving, and she's like, oh, I hope we can meet again, because, and then it fades as she's saying it. And it's just like, just have a little bit more impact, a little bit more heartstrings. Yeah, for the subtitled version. I think the dub was just like, this is weird, let's dub it. And it's like, actually, it's got more meaning to it than that.
Ah.
Yeah.
So now the plum taste is out of my mouth, we can finish.
Hope you enjoyed the episode. This is Lizzie from Let Zoe Spoil You signing off. And if you did like what you heard and want to hear more from me, you can find me as Let Zoe Spoil You on YouTube, Instagram, Tumblr and Twitter.
And if you'd like to know more from Sagira, you can find me on YouTube, Tumblr and Twitter.
But for now, this is a weeaboo saying Janny
And Newbie saying, see ya!